vandalism case in Athens. Did you copy the 505 incident vandalism case for Athens?
Yeah, forgive that to 32.
Policja! Jesteś tu někdo? Widzicie ven?
Between 2008 and 2016, over 6,000 rhino are known to have been poached for their horns in South Africa. The tipping point for the species' survival has arrived. Rhino horn's primary use was in the preparation of traditional Chinese medicine. But our investigation reveals that the primary driver is now for its use as a status symbol amongst Asia's nouveau riche. Organized crime syndicates firmly control the multi-billion-dollar wildlife trafficking industry and focus much of their efforts on a product more valuable than gold and cocaine combined per gram.
In these shops we find mostly high-level artifacts, status symbol. The end product, the jewelry item, the comb, the libation cup is where the money is made. The traditional medicine is a byproduct.
Swiss wildlife investigator Carl Mann has documented the demand characteristics for the use of rhino horn over the last 6 years. Gathering evidence from across Southeast Asia to scientifically validate his findings, Carl collected samples of rhino horn from traditional medicine shops as well as manufacturers of rhino horn status products and luxury goods outlets. Then submitted them to the veterinary genetics laboratory in South Africa for DNA analysis. The lab has over 22,000 rhino profiles in its database. The vast majority of samples being sold as rhino horn collected from traditional medicine retailers proved to be water buffalo and other bovine species, while the exact opposite was revealed when the samples collected from luxury goods outlets and rhino horn processing plants were analyzed.
The point is, in all these shops here which we sampled, the traditional medicine is a byproduct, and what falls on the floor in the production of these products, which is sold between $10 and $20 a gram. The artifact is sold between $80 and $160 a gram. What drives the market now is the status symbol and not ATM or traditional Chinese medicine.
In many ways, Vietnam epitomizes the anomalies of Southeast Asia, clinging to ancient cultures and traditions while trying to find expression in a modern Western-influenced society. One of the ways in which the nouveau riche express their wealth is through one-upmanship, showing off status symbols as their token of rank in society, and disregarding illegal wildlife trafficking laws in the knowledge that corrupt officials can be bought. As this security camera shows, illicit wildlife traffickers being escorted through an airport's custom checkpoint by police. It turned out that they were smuggling rhino horn when stopped and questioned by an unbought official. Another expression of one-upmanship is Chinese tourists buying illicit wildlife product in so-called special economic zones that straddle China's borders and carrying them unhindered back into China. While the volume of river traffic in Southeast Asian cities makes enforcement of wildlife trafficking laws challenging, the remoteness of trafficking villages dotted along the Mekong River makes enforcement virtually impossible. Our investigation reveals Hanoi as a major entrepot for processing rhino horn into specialty artifacts for distribution in the region that caters primarily to wealthy Chinese clientele. Any attempt by government to appease wildlife conservation donor agency concerns, like the recent horn burning in Hanoi, is simply counteracted by organized crime syndicates by raising the price of the illegal commodity, further strengthening the risk-reward profile throughout the entire illicit supply chain. To maintain their income stream, some NGOs claim success in mitigating rhino poaching through demand reduction campaigns, without being able to explain to their donors why an increasing number of rhino are being killed at the same time. Others raise money by claiming to have found the magic bullet to end poaching, like the poison horn scam that managed to dupe the Dutch postcode lottery out of 14 million euros before being exposed and forced to pay back a portion of the donation. Well aware of the political and financial ramifications, even international conservation agencies such as CITES choose to turn a blind eye towards China and Vietnam's known disregard of wildlife trafficking laws.
As you know, we already signed the MOU between the two countries, and since then we implement a lot of measures to curb the illegal trade of rhino horn.
In recent years, Vietnam has taken legislative measures to tackle the country's widespread corruption. However, enforcement and criminal prosecutions are ineffective, as court functions are restricted by political influence, a lack of transparency, and a weak legal system. This, together with high levels of corruption at ports and borders in Vietnam, create the perfect environment for organized crime syndicates' nexus through the Hanoi Connection.